Welcome to Esther's Universe. It's a magical place full of authenticity, creativity, and joy. It's where anything is possible as science and spirituality come together to teach you how to step into your power and raise your vibration. So together we can heal the collective and make a positive impact on the world. If you love the pod, please share it and enjoy. I'm going to talk to you about burnout, but first I want to read something to you because I'm going to explode if I don't. I actually won't be able to talk about burnout if I don't read this to you first. Okay. This is so off topic. This what I'm going to read to you has like nothing to do with burnout. And the whole burnout thing, like I have such a deep understanding of it, and I feel like I can give you a lot of clarity in a short amount of time. So just bear with me while I express this amazing creative expression with you. Okay, backstory. I am going to a friend's housewarming on Saturday. I don't know why I'm so giddy about this. Sorry, I'll get through it. Anyway, and so I was wearing this like really cute outfit today because I was going out for my friend's birthday to just like catch up and hang out. And I loved my outfit and I was like, I'm going to wear this again on Saturday because I'm seeing like that friend again for her birthday again. And then this other housewarming friend. So I was like, I'll wear this outfit and just look slay the whole time. And then my next thought, which unfortunately is something that I have to go through with literally every choice about everything that I ever wear, was, am I going to regret wearing this outfit knowing that I'll be really sweaty and like sweat drips down the back of my legs and stuff? And so when I'm wearing dresses, even if it's like a tight dress, like if it's a tight dress, there's a good chance that the dress is going to catch the sweat. But if it's like loose, sweat will just drip down the back of my legs. And I have this huge fear that it will just look like I'm standing there peeing or something, which I'm not, obviously. But I get worried about that because it just seems very vulnerable and I can't see what's going on because it's behind me. You know what I mean? Like it's just so unknown back there and I've always beaten myself up about it. And it's something that I've been really working on getting over. And because I don't want to carry like any kind of fucking self-hate with me. I just don't want it. There's no like, what am I going to do? I can't change it. Just fucking embrace it, babe, you know? So I'm sitting there thinking like what it will be like. I was picturing myself. I was embodying the scenario. Like I'm in this house. My friend is taking some of my artworks to store, but like on his walls because they want art on the walls. And I have just got so much art taking up space in my unit. And I'm like literally just like loaning / very gratefully letting this art like live in their house for however long. And then I'll decide if I'm going to do an exhibition or something like that. But it's so much better to have it seen by people out there doing something that it's meant to do, you know, not just sitting fucking lined up, covered up at my house. So stoked about that. And I'm picturing myself there looking at my own art in this home that I've never been in, but I could see it so clearly. And I could feel the sweat dripping down the backs of my legs. And I was like, yep. I was like, maybe I won't wear it. We'll see. And then I was like, no, why? How can you love your sweating right now? Like, how? How can you lean into the magic of who you are? Like, do that. And so then I suddenly saw this like really fun, very real, very alive scenario playing out inside my head, and I started writing it down. And this is literally the most authentic expression I learned about my own sweating, about my own creativity and my own power when I read this back. But also what I very much do know about it, and that my lived experience of it I don't have a lot of understanding around this. There's not a lot of knowledge around it. So it's just this thing that I've experienced my entire life, this creative drive, this constant push forward, this massive power to just constantly evolve and also sweating and having more energy than anyone I've ever met in my fucking life. Like this being me, and I thought there was something wrong with me this whole time. So imagine having this much power and thinking that there's something wrong with you and like hating yourself for it. You also have this as well, by the way. So if that sounds sad, stop hating yourself. Anyway, this is how I feel. I read how I feel. This is literally what life is like for me in so many different ways. And I'm going to read it to you. Okay, it says, salty water dripped down the backs of my legs as I shuffled my stance, hopelessly trying to catch it with my skirt. A couple of drops landed on the wooden floor, ready to give me away as we stood there, taking in my art on the walls of this big open space. My friend's home, their housewarming. It was a gathering of many kinds of souls, magic and mortal alike. "Where did those droplets of water come from?" said a tall human man as he trailed his eyes up to the rafters. His connection made sense. It was a cloudy day. "They came from me," I said, silently cursing the betrayal of my own body. I wasn't in the mood to have my power seen today, not by people who could hardly behold it. His girlfriend, blonde and pregnant, looked from the ceiling to my face. Her eyes locked with mine, and like a deer who'd heard a rustle in the bushes, she flinched her gaze away. Humans felt so uncomfortable about their souls being seen. I felt bad. I love humans. I bridged their world with mine, allowing magic to pour through. So I sucked in a slow breath and I explained. "These artworks," I said, panning my hand and body around the room, "are a minute fraction of the great, devastating power that lives surging in my veins, always looking for a way into your realm. You call it creativity. I call it the wand of intention, tamed and ready to enact my every will. Right now, standing here with you, there is an entire world going on inside me, and as I deny its release, it finds a way through, burning up into steam and entering this world through flesh and electricity. My sweat." Another droplet trailed down the muscles on the back of my leg. My golden skin, slick and hot. The sound of salt hitting the floor rung in my ears as if it was the only sound I'd ever heard, as they stood there, taking me in. I often did the same in the mirror, try to take myself in. The enormity of my essence, my soul, the beautiful, terrifying star girl with planets for eyes, condensed into an earthly form. A body able to carry me through my life in this mission. I am the ether, the magnitude of all beginnings, the fire of life and thunder. And yet this body, this vibration, felt dizzyingly slow compared to the speed of light. What does it feel like?" she asked with a cracked voice, shaking me from the dimension of resistance. As I returned to behind my eyes, I replied, "It feels like life and death all at once. It feels like a constant urge, an insatiable hunger, the elements combined, all trying to live in harmony within this skin. I have to mediate the worlds within myself, creating harmony among the chaos, much like I do for your world." And that's all I've written so far, because then I had to go out and spend this whole day doing all these amazing fun things and having amazing realizations and sitting in a really high vibe with my friend Zoe. It was her birthday. Shout out, happy birthday, Zoe. And as soon as I got home, my journal was just like, "Read me again." And I was like, okay. And then I read it again and I just got so excited. So I'm going to just see where this goes. I have been wanting to be a published author for probably my entire life. And it was a really big breakthrough when I realized that I didn't have to wait until I was old and dying. For some reason I always thought I had to live an entire life before I was able to write about anything. But you can take literally one fucking thing that's ever happened to you that you know through and through, whether it's good or bad, whatever that is. If you know something through and through because you've fully lived it, the thing, whatever the fuck it is, you fully have permission to write about it at any age. And so you can write about literally anything because what you've lived is what you've lived. So it's you take yourself out of the cloud of doubt, out of the cloud of things that have and haven't happened and whatever, and you bring yourself back to your actual life that you've actually lived. And then you go, okay, here are my experiences. What wisdom do I have? And then you go into the ether cloud of fucking eternal awareness and you pull from that because you are the source of all energy. So it's there. It's just you can have it whenever you want. And then you bring that, take it and stick it onto your fucking lived experience and wham, bam, babe, you can write about fucking anything. So yeah, I've got a bunch of books that I've started. But because I flow with energy, right? So it's I'll do literally the way that I start my day, this is also going to lead us into the burnout conversation, by the way. The way that I start my day is going, what do I feel like doing? That's not always the way it was. I used to live like in absolute chaos and like the worst possible fucking burnout brewing situation ever. So it's a very, very, very different scenario to be in this regulated nervous system state and have created a life for myself where I have given myself full freedom. Because I said one day, like I realized, I was like, I value freedom above everything else. I'm going on this fucking personal development journey, this spiritual development journey. I'm not just going to like get to some point and give up and stop. I was like, what do I actually want? Truly, what do I want? At the end of the day, after like, you know, having money to do whatever I want and help the world and like, you know, fun experiences and travel and a new car and like just the ability to have all my friends over at once and feed everyone. Like apart from that, like at the fucking core of it, what do I want? I want freedom. I want to do whatever I fucking want. I want to wake up and decide my day as it happens. And I was like, okay, well, what would that take? So then every decision I made, I would bring it back to that. What business do I want to start? I'm bringing it back to that. Every business decision, how am I giving my information to people? Every fucking part of the process, I imagine, do I want to do this forever? Can I do this forever? Is it sustainable for me to do this forever? It doesn't mean I have to do it forever. But I want to love every minute of what I do. I want to be in alignment all the time. I want to be free. And so I was like, it's really important to me to create a world where I can do that in every aspect, basically. So every business decision, everything, every life decision, every relationship decision, all of it comes back to, does this allow me to ebb and flow whenever I want? So it doesn't mean like I'll never, you know, have structure. I love structure. I have built a structure that allows me to flow this creative energy through without stopping it, right? So it's like as the bridge between heaven and earth, the universe and the human realm, I have created a way for myself that works for me, that I have created a path of least resistance to all of the kinds of ways that I like to create. And I follow the energy that comes through based on what I feel like doing, what feels nice or exciting or draws me in or interesting, makes me curious. I have a draw to it in some way. And I don't just fuck myself up with like, oh, I should do this or I should do that. I should. If I hear myself saying should, that's a fucking red flag. That's like a stop and listen to what you're saying. Is this actually a should? Like, should I take someone to hospital if they are, you know, in need of a hospital? Yes, you should. Like, not, you know, apart from like that kind of thing, like full on. If I hear myself in the shoulds, I'm like, this is me trying to logically think my way into a more safe scenario, which is not really the direction I'm trying to go. I'm trusting that I'm safe and I'm going in the unknown scenario. Anyway, so I can just bring this energy through. The energy gets to decide. And I have created this way to allow it into the world and share it with people in a bunch of different places through a bunch of different ways of expressing that I enjoy. And I allow myself to add more ways of expressing whenever I want. Like if I want to start fucking designing clothes, I will. You know what I mean? I have no desire to right now, but I will not stop myself if I suddenly want to try that. Because it all leads to where you're going, right? Like it's the journey for one. And it's so fun to learn new things too. But like I'm endlessly surprised when I see how all of these amazing skills that I have come together as a plexus from which this incredible spider web of energy can form. It's amazing. So yeah, very different to how I used to live. So burnout. Burnout in its simplest form is low self-worth, and it's low self-worth is not valuing your energy, right? So like who you are, your energy, your expression, is absolutely perfect as it is. But when we don't understand that and we don't know it and we don't believe it, we feel a very strong desire to prove our worth to the world around us by working really hard, by saying yes to too many things, by people pleasing, by constantly discarding yourself just to survive and keep everything else around you as smooth as you can, by rolling over yourself again and again and again to just let life barge through you, and you're barging through it, and it's exhausting. It's fucking exhausting. And the reason you're doing all these things is, in a very simple form, a lack of boundaries, right? So when you're thinking about developing boundaries for your energy, think about it as a way to protect your most valuable resource. And you're not protecting it from the big bad world around you and you got to put up this fucking fortress. And no, boundaries they're just, imagine them as like this beautiful kind of energetic field around you. And what is allowed in that energetic field is like your absolute closest people that you love the energy of and you feel the best around, and the things that you like to do, and your own kind of inner world and all of that, and compassion and all these beautiful things are in your energy field, your experience of life, you know? And when something feels like it's poking in on that energy field and creating a leak or a drain, or it feels like, oh, I don't want to have to communicate this thing to that person, I just hope they read my mind and go away, or like, that's something coming inside your energy field. And it can come from anywhere. It can be your neighbor. It can be your workplace, your boss, your job that you do. It can be your partner. It can be your kid. It can be just you. You do it to yourself. You might take on too many things, say yes to too many things. People might demand things of you. And the more scattered you are with your energy, and the more nervous you are and the more anxious you are, even if you think you're like high functioning and like good at this and putting on a good mask and just being like, yeah, I got my shit together, the more you're like that, the easier it is for people to push you over. Like, people don't take you seriously as much when you're like that because you don't take you seriously. But they don't know that. It's just like an energetic exchange that happens. Like, you don't take you seriously, so other people don't. And they demand almost, it seems like, more of you. They just take. And it's not ever going to stop unless you learn to protect your energy in a loving way where you're happy to give it, but you're going to fill it up first so that you give from the overflow. I am like a full-on, like, tap has been on in a bucket for like 2 years now, and the bucket's just pouring over constantly, literally constantly. And it doesn't mean that I'm completely high energy output all the time. I listen to my body, I go with my seasons, and as soon as I need to rest, I just fucking chill. And the other thing is, people rest and they get upset and scared because they're not used to resting, and they feel anxious the whole time, and they must be doing something. There must be something wrong with them. Maybe they're already heaps far down their spiritual path, but all of a sudden they have self-doubt. They're like, wait, am I in a bad place right now because I've fucked myself up? Am I blocking myself? Is my ego in my own way? Like, whereas like looking for a way that we've done something wrong, that kind of thing, and then even rest seems exhausting. So those are times you have to have boundaries with yourself. You have to say, you know, your consciousness self, your awareness self has to say to your human self in those moments, like, sorry, no, having a boundary from this right now, that's not what's coming into this energetic field. This is going to be a place of peace and rest. Thank you. I'm going to allow myself to fucking check out. I'm going to look at the birds outside and giggle because they're weird. And I'm going to like write in my book, and I'm going to watch some fucking Netflix, or I'm going to have a joint, or I'm going to have some wine. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever. Do whatever you want to fucking do. And so I have like heaps of rest days. And I like only do things when my energy tells me to, when it feels right. Right? So when you start to listen to your body, listen to the feelings inside your body, learn to understand what it all means, And the way to understand what it all means, by the way, is to action it, right? So you listen to your body and then you action what it needs. You give it what it requires. And it's like building trust with a dog that has been abused and kept in a cage and then abandoned on the side of the road, and you find it, it's all covered in like fleas and it's basically dying. It's got a fucking broken leg or whatever. And you take the dog and you take it to the vet, and then you bring it home and give it lots of kisses and love and cuddles. And then it's this beautiful, healthy, wholesome, sweet angel baby. Like, you have to train your body to accept love and connection and all of that. You have to build the relationship, because obviously, like, the dog would be really timid at first, terrified because it's been abused and neglected and never known love. Your body is like the same, basically, except like heaps resilient and absolutely fucking doing an amazing job of keeping you alive and all of that. But your body, you need to build that relationship. Take it from being the injured, neglected, timid puppy into being the beautiful, strong, healthy dog who's happy and like loving and connected. And when you build that relationship with your body, you start to fully have this like constant two-way infinite loop of conversation between human self and universe self. Mind, body, left brain, right brain. Like, you start to come together as this whole fucking being. It's incredible, because your body starts to give away more and more of its secrets. More and more of the things that have been holding you back start to show and become available for you to move on. And because you're so there for yourself, you're so nurturing, like it comes up and you can handle it so easy. Like, you're not afraid of feeling, because you learn your body's feelings. You give it what it needs and it responds, it speaks to you, it communicates, and it becomes one of your clearest fucking channels into the universe self. I couldn't think of a clearer channel. It's an essential part of this journey. You absolutely cannot get to where you're going if you don't start to listen to your body. Like, sorry, but put it at the top of your fucking priority list. I love you. Anyway, when you're listening to your body, you start to really value your energy, because your body is telling you, like, hey, cunt, you've actually left me neglected and I've been burnt out low-key for the last 2 years already, and now I'm running in overdrive. My nervous system is pretty shot and I'm going to need you to wind it all back. And then you're going to want to listen to your body, and your body's going to be like, yeah, no, wind it back more. And then you'll listen to it and you'll be like, oh my God. And your body will be like, no, wind it back more. Keep going. And you're like, could I go any slower in life? Could I put the brakes on any more? Like, are you fucking kidding? And your body's going to be like, no, yeah, keep going. And it's like, it's actually unreal. Like, the amount, because I committed so deeply, I was like, I'm not going back. I'm changing everything. I'm fucking sending it to the moon, showing myself what I'm made of. I want to see it. I want to live this life to the most exciting version of I could possibly fucking experience of it. And I'm not stopping, and I'm not taking no for an answer. It's just, I'm living it already. Like, I've shown myself, I've proven to myself that I can. It just keeps getting better and better now. It's amazing. Anyway, why was I telling you that? Oh yeah. So this was kind of step one on the road out of burnout. So I'd committed so deeply to listening to my body and getting to know my energy. It felt like the intuitive thing that I had to do. And by listening to my body, it led me down this road where I was like, I quit a job right when I was trying to buy a house. I was so close to buying a house and also so close to getting priced out of a market. And I was like, oh my God, these doors are opening and it's so close. But then it just got further away and further away and further away. I was like, ah! And I was so sick of it. I cannot climb this fucking house market hill again. I was like, no, I'm not going to waste my life. I was like, it feels like the wrong focus. It feels like someone's baiting my attention in the wrong direction. So I was like, fuck that. I'll get a house one day. It doesn't need to be right, but fucking now. I can show myself. I can do other things. That doesn't have to be my goal. And that was one of the most liberating things ever. But it also set me free from the job that I didn't want to work anymore, because I felt like I was burning out. I was trying to slow down. I shut down my photography business, as most of you probably already know. And then I was working, while I was closing that down, I was working a full-time job. So that was really tiring. And then the business was finally done and I was just working that job. but I still felt, I was like, I'm getting like, my energy getting drained here. And I was like, alarm bells, like alert, alert, alert. It feels like I have to give way more than what I'm getting back. And I was like, there's an imbalance. I can feel it. I was like, the output is not worth what's coming back my way. It costs more than it costs more than the spend or the worth, whatever. So I was like, nah, not doing it. So then I quit that job, didn't know what I was going to do, got a job offer like immediately. My friend needed to hire someone to do her marketing for her new brand, blah, blah, blah. And she was able to hire me full time because it was like her second business, da-da-da. So I was like, yep, slay, amazing. I'm taking a week off first, blah, blah, blah. And so I got to work from home. That job, and she was like, can you like come and work in Brisbane sometimes? And I was like, nah. And she was like, yeah, I didn't think you would either. But I was like, I can work from home. I'm so fucking efficient. I've had a business. I know how to work. So I got to use a lot of downtime, right? Like I got to go slower in the mornings. I set the intention. I was brave. I quit. I didn't know what was going to happen. I knew that if I had to get some other job somewhere, I would just opt for something a little bit more chill or close to home or something like that. But I was like, I would love one where I can work from home. And something I don't have to try very hard to do. I can just do. And it couldn't have been more easy. Like, it was all shit. I did learn things on the job. There were some things that challenged me, but like for the most part, I could just breeze through that. It was sick. And I spent a lot of time healing. Like I spent a lot of time crying and journaling and facing myself, letting myself grieve things that I'd never had time to stop and grieve before. I was visiting my inner child and my shadow and all of that, and just like learning how to meditate and painting. I was doing so much expressing with painting and writing and poems and stuff like that. And I slowed down. I came to like a screeching halt, basically. And it took a long time to slow down too, because, I mean, it took a long time. I mean, it didn't. I did literally all of this in like less than 2 years. Oh, maybe 2 years? I don't know. No, probably 2 years, yeah. Maybe 2.5. You know what? Around that mark. I don't know. And there were still even times when I'd come to basically a screeching halt and I was like, I'm feeling like kind of bored, but I was asked by my body to like slow even more. And then there were days where I was just like, I can't work this job anymore, blah, blah, blah. And like all these things were kind of coming up inside me. And then I'd already started the podcast and I started like expressing this, whole journey. And that has been one of the most healing, incredible, expansive things I've ever done in my whole life. Like I want everyone to start a podcast. Even if you don't show the world, it's just so healing. But also please express and share it with the world. Anyway, so then I like quit that job and then I was in the unknown. And then so when I was in the unknown, you'd think like, and I had offerings open, people could book in for calls and stuff. And I had some things like digital downloads online for sale at the time and blah, blah, blah. So money could come in still. And it did, which is awesome. But like, I didn't know what was going to happen. I had no idea. And so every day was like really scary. But all I knew was that I was going to just only act out of alignment, right? Which means continuing that path of following my body. So I literally just like followed my body into basically poverty. I've never lived with less money in my entire life. And I've also never been more grateful and excited and joyful in my entire life. It's amazing. And like my body led me this way. And I just was like, fuck, I get like, you know what you're talking about. I don't fucking know. So I was like, all right, let's go. And I was like, had to calm my anxiety. I had to get past so much fear about financial situations. So many of my ancient survival mechanisms were just flaring my fucking anxiety. Like it was sickening. And then like I was just open the whole time though. Like I always remained energetically open heart. Like I want the way through. I want the way through. Like, what's the next thing I need to know? What do I need to do? And sometimes, a lot of the time, it was rest. And so I would be like, okay, I'm not going to hustle. I'm not going to go in the wrong direction. But like, come on, energy, like something, come through me. Like I need something. I got to make some money. I got to put something out there. Come on. And my body was like, can't take a book and ride to the beach, meditate, have a swim, lay in the sand, eat a burrito, read your book. And I was like, oh my God, you want me to what? Like, what? Where's the money gonna come from? But I listened and I went and did it. Like, who's terrified of relaxing? You know what I mean? Like, saying it out loud, like, that sounds ridiculous, being so scared to go to the beach and relax. But it was so genuine. I was terrified. It felt insane to just not go into action mode. Like, I basically threw myself off a cliff, and then my survival mechanisms were like, catch the side of the wall, look for a branch, like, find some way to survive this fall. And I'm like, nah. Nope. Just fall. So it was really crazy putting myself through that. It felt like I had a say and I didn't at the same time. But I had a say and I chose yes, you know, I chose to do it. And so I just stopped more and more and more. But while I was stopping, there was so much internal growth. Like, I was exhausted. Like, I couldn't have been productive in those times because I was going through the depth of an entire life transformation. Because again, like, I made this my top priority, guys. I was like, I want freedom, and I'm not stopping at anything until I cross from this life to that, until I jump from this world to that world, because no one I've ever known has ever lived in the way that I want to live, right? So there are multiple paths that lead in the same general direction, and thank God for those people who have expressed themselves and left a trail in their wake to help me and so many other people. Thank you. I'm getting emotional. Thank you for everyone who's ever shared their point of view and their, oh my God, I'm like actually crying now. Oh, it's like I'm saying thanks to myself. Whoa. Oh, that's so nice. Wow. But anyway, you know, but so like, it's like you can lead people in your current as far as you can, but there's a point where we have to venture into the unknown. It's like part of the journey. And you kind of like, you do that part of it. Like, you bounce off friends, you share wisdom with others. Like, you still take bites of other people's stuff when you need it. But a lot of it is just you and you. And it's, you know, like, once you start, you realize, because after you kind of resolve one part of you and bring light to it, all this like energy fills in, and you have more energy than you did before. And all this like knowing and wisdom comes in, and this desire to share it. Right. And so that feels so good that the dense part of it is so worth it, because you're like, well, the good part feels better. So it's like this wave that keeps washing over until one day it's like, it doesn't feel hard anymore. You don't resist yourself anymore. You just go with it, like with all of it. You lean into the discomfort of all of it completely, knowing that it's so fucking worth it. And that it's exactly what you want to be doing. And it's like, not to say you'll go through the same like trudging up of things forever and ever and ever. You will break free of a lot of these cycles and become this beautiful whole version of you that is not ashamed or afraid of any single part of yourself. And you'll use every single part of yourself to interact with the world in whatever way it needs, whatever part of you at the time. You know, it's really cool. And it takes a lot of energy though. Like, you can't expect yourself to work a full-time job, not get supported by like your partner, or be around, if you're single or whatever, and you have friends and people that drain your energy. Like, you can't, it just doesn't, none of that is aligned. You know what I mean? You need time to rest and to pull back. You need to say to the people in your life, hey, I actually can't go 100% right now because I'm working on changing my fucking life. I'm going to go 100% internally, but that means externally, I'm going to be going like fucking chilling, like max chilling. And you need to give yourself permission, you know, or if you're in a situation where you are the sort of person when like, if you are chilling and then someone comes home and then you suddenly have to like look productive. That's a big thing that I think a lot of us have, where it's like, oh, quick, like look productive, look like I wasn't just chilling doing nothing. Notice that. Notice those times in yourself and catch it and be like, you're meant to be chilling. We are not meant to go this hard. It's not normal. It's not sustainable. And you're the only one that can change your life. So start to put up boundaries. Start to communicate to the people in your life who love you, who want to support you. Even if they don't understand, tell them that you need to do it. Who can help? Can someone take the kids for an afternoon every week, or a couple? you know? Can you rely on your partner to work less, or bridge the gap while you jump into the unknown and find a job where you can work from home, or a few days work from home, or negotiate with your boss to work from home, or you're, I don't know, like, do you know what I mean? I don't need to give 1,000 examples. Just take the gist of it and apply it to your own life. So anyway, I got to a place where I'm like, nervous system is pretty well regulated, and I have a handle on how to, now I'm fucking just like this with it, but I got to a point where I was like, I have a handle on self-regulation in like so many different parts of life. I just like let life, I experience myself through life. I let myself get triggered, or I let myself do things that make me nervous and stuff like that. And I just observe. I observe myself, and I shift energies within myself like constantly. It's this constant, like, how am I feeling right now? Why is it uncomfortable? Why is it upsetting? Why is it not good? Is it something that I need to like sit down and transmute and do like a whole thing with it? Or can I just shift it right now and be like, hey, why is my perspective on this perceiving it as bad? Like, can I perceive this as something else? You know, and I just like change things and just have like realizations all throughout the day, that kind of thing. And then I was, you know, by this point, probably like pod's been out for a while, making content, like helping people, coaching people, all this stuff. But like, I didn't even know yet what I was doing. Like, I was just following, again, listening to my energy. Like, I wanted to start a podcast, did it. I wanted to start talking on the internet and sharing my wisdom in videos, did it. I wanted to start coaching people and doing the coaching calls, did it. I wanted to put like, you know, meditation tracks into the world because I made meditations for myself, and I was like, fuck, these changed my life. And my friends were screaming about them, and I put it on fucking TikTok, and that was going viral. And then next thing you know, I'm making meditations and people are like begging me for more. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, they work for me. They must work for everyone else who resonates with me. And then, so I was doing that, putting those online, and people could like buy these digital downloads of my meditations and like a personal brand playbook and stuff like that. So like, I was just getting callings to make things and just putting them out there. I just made stuff and shared it. Stuff that I wanted to, that I was doing at the time, things that I was so grateful for having experienced and was like, wow, this changed my life. I have to share it. Like, I just have to share it. Have to give it to someone. Take it. Help us all evolve. Yeah, and then I was then like, I don't know, like I just allowed myself to get kind of bored. And I'm like, how, you know, obviously, how could you be bored doing all those things? I wasn't. Like, I'm not, ever. But sometimes, like, you get used to doing stuff. Like, I fucking love the podcast. I fucking love it. But now, this doesn't scare me anymore, right? So when it was terrifying to jump on and do this every time I was going to do it, I wanted to do it so badly. I was so fucking scared. It took a lot of energy because I was having to regulate a lot. And then I got more and more used to it, more and more comfortable just showing up and pressing record. Like, I don't plan a fucking thing anymore. I already didn't really plan anything, but sometimes I would like dot notes and stuff like that and little bits of structure. And like, today I'm going to talk about this. And now it's just like, I have a thought and I'm like, I have to share this. And then I press record. It just comes through. So it's easy. It doesn't take a lot of energy. And then like posting online and all that stuff, I've made it so that it's so fucking easy for myself to do these things because there's no resistance, and I've found like shortcuts and things like that. So, like, I just have gotten good at it. So then I'm like, all right, now I want to do more. Like, not because I have to fill my time. I still have plenty of time to rest. I do so little sometimes. It's not even funny. So if I'm like, I want to do more out of like pure fucking drive for life, I'm going to do more. Like, why not? You know, fucking send it, babe. So I was like, I want to start a business. I want to bring all this together. I want it to be like some kind of fucking big plexus of all my information. And like, I have so much to share, so much wisdom, so much experience in life, so many fucking things that I've mastered. And I was like, let me give them to the world. And I was like, I want to do it the most aligned way. I'm not going to do it in a way that's going to be fucking draining. I'm not going to do it in a way that I'm going to end up hating. I'm not going to box myself into a cage by accident. I'm going to trust myself to pick a thing that is so fucking free that I can do whatever I fucking want. And then eventually all these like downloads came through for the app. And I've talked about the app in so many different episodes of like what I went through spiritually and also like on a technical level to like build it and stuff like that. But it all just like came through. I knew what I was doing. I had this clarity lightning bolt, the branding, the fucking name of it, all of it. And I built the entire thing from conception of idea to production of app in 12 weeks. I launched it. That's insane. That's not normal, bro. But the energy, I've got so much energy and so much clarity. I'm just like, boots. Like, I'm fucking unstoppable, guys. Anyway, so, yeah, I like kind of just like got to a point where I had so much space for that to land. That was able to dock on my reality because I created the space for the enormity of that. You know, and I just like had plenty of room for it. It was like, fucking drop in, babe. And it like came on in, and then I was actioning it. I just did it. The energy was there. It all was there. My attention was there. My focus was there. And I had like a couple of weeks in that 12-week period. By the way, I just did nothing. Broken up. Like there was one week where I just spent a week with Sonia doing fucking nothing. And then other days in between was just like chilling. I didn't work on weekends. I was like the best boss ever. And I still am. It was sick. It's been the most chill thing. It's incredible. And it's like a subscription thing, and I'm able to put my meditation tracks on there and provide this like support for people that's so affordable, and I can add to it whenever it suits me, you know what I mean? Like when the energy is telling me to do that. And other than that, it lives and breathes without me. But also it's not without me because I've always got my attention on it in one way or another, right? And so it just lives. We just breathe into each other. It's cool. It's like I gave birth and had a child or something. Like I did have a real child, but this is also like another child. This is like we're attached by a gold umbilical cord or something, but it's its own thing. And so then I can still have, you know, which is a revelation that I had recently because I was like, Theta's its own thing, right? Esther's Universe is where I need to have the fucking How to Start a Podcast course and the painting course and the personal brand course, like that, those, and the creativity stuff. Like there's so many things that I have to bring through to teach people. Like I have to, it's coming out of me, and it's so potent because, oh my God, like I can feel it. And I was like, oh, like, I don't know. I was a bit torn about putting it all on the Theta app. I was like, I feel like it's like distracting. I think it's like too much. I was like, I want to dial Theta back and just bring it to how to meditate. You know, here's what your consciousness is doing. Here's like the spiritual rewrite your story, get out of your own way, shadow work thing. Like here are the meditation tracks, here are the hypnosis tracks. Very inner world, right? Very, very transform your energy, transform your inner world. Here's the understanding of who you are at the core kind of thing, or how to find your version of that. And so all of that is already in Theta. That exists in Theta currently. So if you're not on the app and that sounds good, like there's a consciousness part, there's the meditation tracks, there's stuff about your nervous system, like things to regulate this inner situation. And then on the other spectrum is Esther's Universe, which is like kind of like the earth expression of all of this inner world transformation, right? Because like Theta is based on my own inner transformation. So everything that I share with you guys that I have been through, that I've done, that I've transformed, the way that I live, all of that, like everything that I intuitively guided myself through, and also took like inspiration from like reading books and understanding like Joe Dispenza's methods and stuff like that. Like those things helped me. And then I've like got my own understanding of this process, this intuitive inner knowing. Like we all have it. It's like when someone tells you something about your spiritual kind of self and you're like, wait, I knew that. But you're like, how did I know it? Like not consciously know it, but also know it at the same time. It's because it's like, it is you. We all have the same base knowing. We are all the same energy. So we're just like remembering all of that, and we're showing each other and like helping each other along the way, right? So it's like my version of this experience I took and put into Theta. And then I was kind of like cluttering it up by accident. And I'm only just like realized I haven't actually made any of these changes on Theta yet. Like I literally just had this realization like 3 days ago. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to pull out those things. Not those things, sorry. All of what I just said, I'm just keeping in there. But I'm pulling out the podcast course, and I'm pulling out I didn't even put the How to Paint course on because I'm finishing the last 2 videos. But that was going to go in Theta. I'm not doing that in Theta anymore. I am still doing it. And also like the personal brand thing, like I'm taking all that, and Theta is going to be more about spirituality, meditation. Esther's Universe is where I'll put all that other stuff, like the creativity, the fucking brand and business in a total state of alignment and freedom kind of thing. The, you know, podcast, how to do that, how to like all that shit, I'm going to put in Esther's Universe because that's That's my expression of the transformations that I've made. That's how I live this life in a physical sense. That's what I do, you know what I mean? That's like literally what I do all the time is those things. Like, so it makes sense. It makes so much sense. So anyway, I followed this path out of burnout, allowing myself to create that much space in my inner world and outer world around me that the new life could kind of just fly in at me, and I could express it by just listening to my energy and doing whatever it says, being brave, putting myself out there, even though I was like, oh my God, what am I even doing right now? I don't even know. I have no idea. No one gave me permission. I didn't do a fucking course in anything. Like, you can do whatever you want, babe. You just lean into who you are and what you know. And yeah, like all of this stuff has just developed and evolved. Like even when I was doing the coaching calls and stuff, I had no idea I would have an app. I just knew I was allowing whatever it was to be built through me, right? So that's how I got out of burnout. I slowed down and then learned how to have energetic boundaries by valuing my energy. And because I valued my energy so much, I suddenly found myself with incredibly high self-worth. You know, like your worth and value. Think of it almost like money, right? But also like, I don't know if that's the best analogy. I couldn't have the rest of the visual didn't come through. And I was like, okay. Anyway, so burnout, just remember, is essentially low self-worth, which is essentially not valuing your energy, which is essentially an obscene lack of boundaries. Start putting up boundaries everywhere in your life. Start choosing yourself. Stop abandoning yourself. Start loving yourself through and through. Fucking love yourself. Start expressing yourself. Slow the fuck down. Slow down more. Stop trying to control your life. Stop trying to control what you think needs to happen next. Stop trying to control based on some vision in your head that like some massive hill you're trying to climb. Stop all of it. Come back to freedom. What does that mean for you? Like truly, what does it mean? In the sense that if you were to create a life for yourself, you don't need to know exactly what that life is, but like if you were to create a life for yourself based around you being free, does that mean that you wouldn't be obliged to do anything? Like you wouldn't have to like do any obligatory shit. You wouldn't have to make facial expressions you don't want to make when you don't want to fucking make them. Like, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to try and temper the room to be something calm so that everyone feels comfortable. You don't have to try and work hard to be found valuable. None of that. Like, none of that is a thing that you even need to fucking do, ever. Like, at all. Like, you don't owe anyone fucking anything. Your life is your life, right? So if you're in a situation that's draining you and you're ready to make a change, start to picture yourself as like, okay, let's just say you're 30 and you go, I'm in this marriage that I hate, or this relationship that I hate, or I'm in this job that I hate, or whatever. Picture yourself there at 60, right? You will eventually leave it. Eventually something will happen to boot you off that path if you don't choose your way off it. And usually when you get booted off a path, it fucking hurts. Because like the collateral is massive. But if you choose, it can still have massive collateral. It can still fucking hurt. But you've made the choice, so you're so empowered. It takes off on a totally different energy. Doesn't mean one's better than the other. I got knocked off a path and it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine either way. You don't want to like avoid it either. Like, let life be what it is going to be. But just like, if you're scared to make changes and choices and everything, and you're like, oh, I just like hope my life gets better, but you're not actually going to make these big changes, just know that like nothing will change unless you make it change. And if you don't make it change, your life is going to fucking doot you for it. Not to punish you, to force the change, right? Because evolution is part of our nature. We are part of nature. What does nature do unrelentingly? It evolves. It will not stop evolving, ever, and neither will you. You can try and stop your evolution as much as possible and stay in a place of like trying to control the outcome of your life and try to stick to some regimented plan or some idea that you think is what's best for you and like all that stuff. And for sure, you can know what's best for you, 100%. You want self-trust, all of that. But make sure you're not drilling yourself into a direction because you think you're really clear on it, but you haven't actually slowed down to assess who you are in a really long time. Because you might find that your soul is trying to take you somewhere that you hadn't even fucking thought of. And if you're like, oh, well, if I haven't thought of it, it must be shit. Wrong, cunt. It's amazing. All you've experienced is all you've ever experienced. Doesn't mean that what you've experienced is the best that there is to experience, right? Like, there's more. You can have more. Things can be better. They're not going to be worse. If they feel like they're worse, it's only for a period of time and then they get better, okay? Sometimes shit does need to suck. That's fine. Don't resist it. Lean in, motherfucker. It's fine. You'll be fine. Anyway, it's enough of that pep talk. I'm going to go. I love you obviously so much. It's fucking insane. And please pass this on to every cunt you know because everyone's burnt out. Most people are burnt out. And if you found this inspiring, it's going to inspire someone else who resonates with you. You know what I mean? So that'd be awesome if you help me get this out into the world. Thank you so much. Comment on the pod. I would love to hear it. And oh my God, I love... so on Instagram, that's where I share a lot of my life, a lot of like my creativity, how I do things, the inner workings of my brain, just little moments, like very vlog kind of vibe, but also just like I'm just there talking to you as if we're like literally like the closest friends on earth kind of thing. And then my TikTok is more where I put like educational sort of like I'll be talking about something and like that's the information for that topic. There it is. Bye. And Theta, obviously, I spoke about that before. It's got the meditations, all of that. And Esther's Universe, shortly, I'm going to put a bunch of courses up. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Oh my God, one more thing on this journey, just one more piece of advice. Pivot. Allow yourself to pivot. Don't be afraid of pivoting. I pivot constantly. Everyone who listens to the pod, who is like here in the family, like, you know, often is familiar with this entire situation, fully has a total understanding of how often I pivot. And it's like 1 minute I'll be like, I'm doing this offering, and I do it for a while and I'm like, cool, and I learned what I needed to learn. It was transformational. It was amazing. Glad I tried it. And then I'm like, okay, it's done. I can feel it's done. I'm not going to try and force it just because I said I'm doing it. Just because people know I did the thing for like fucking 3 months or 6 months or 2 weeks, like whatever. I don't give a fuck. Like, good. I'm learning and evolving. Know that I've evolved. Know that I've moved on. I'll bring you with me. I'm sharing all the knowledge from all of it. Come along for the ride. I'll share all the skills from all the things. And that allows me to just keep evolving. It allows me to keep not attaching myself to outcomes and realities and things like that. I keep expanding. I keep experiencing more of life. I keep finding out like more about this incredible path as it unfolds before me and sends its energy through me. You know what I mean? It's so cool because I allow myself to pivot. So even if you, and I do this, sometimes I'm like, I know a thing, but then I learn more. I don't just like keep talking about the first thing that I knew when I know more, even if it means that I have to be like, oh, I was kind of wrong about that thing. But that's okay because I'm a human and that was my personal experience of it. But now I understand more. It's not like I was wrong about it, but I was limited. Sorry, that's probably better. And then I learn more. I have a wider understanding. And then I share that new, wider understanding with everyone because, again, we're all learning together. We're on this journey together. I don't want to try and, like, fucking hoard it all and pretend like I'm, you know, just keeping it all in and then just be like, bam, at the end and be like, here's all this information, guys. Like, fuck that. I'm not going to remember any of it. I want to share it as I go. Moving on, you know what I mean? So, yeah, pivot. Fucking pivot, babes. Anyway, love ya. Bye.